Philadelphia Eagles fall to the Los Angeles Chargers 27-24 out there at Lincoln Financial Field. Um, it was a game where Philadelphia had some success running the football. They had some success there, but the bottom line is it came down to their inability on the defensive side of the football to be able to stop the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, Los Angeles had 445 yards of total offense. Justin Herbert had 356 yards passing, three touchdowns, two pass, two by air, one on the ground. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles, had a difficult time stopping this Chargers offense, which is not surprising. This Philadelphia Eagles defense has had a hard time stopping any and everybody throughout the course of this whole season. So what transpired, what happened today on the defensive side of the ball is not surprising. It's clear now that Nick Sirianni is going to run the ball and run the ball a lot, which should have been happening from the start of this football season. I mean, Philadelphia, the strength of this football team is their ability to run the football. And they should have been doing that a lot more throughout the course of this season. And granted, the Los Angeles Chargers, worst in football in terms of stopping the run. Eagles had 176 yards on the ground, 39 carries, 176 yards on the ground. So again, that is a commitment to the running game. That is a commitment to trying to run the football and have some success running. And they got it. They had the success they wanted running the football. They tried to run. They had the success that they wanted. They had the success that they needed. And ultimately, it kept them in the football game and gave them a shot to win this game. Now, if you look at this game, Philadelphia in it throughout the whole game, and they had a great opportunity to win this game. But look, that last drive by the Chargers, I mean, that was a huge drive by the Chargers. They just wasted away the clock, and they ultimately kicked the field goal pretty much with 2 seconds left, pretty much no time left on the clock. So they did what they had to do on that last drive. And it was a perfect drive for them in terms of, what they did, how they were able to just – everything was perfect. You did any and everything you wanted on that drive. You got down the field, and ultimately, it was a 15-play, 64-yard drive, but it took away 6 minutes and 5 seconds. So you get down the field and you milk the clock. You get down the field and you put yourself in a position to kick a field goal with no time left on the clock, and Philadelphia falls to the Los Angeles Chargers. So again, 27-24, the Eagles lose to the Chargers. Eagles now, and you look at this football game now. I don't want to, I know. I'll put it this way. I know there's a great chance that the Eagles probably won't make the playoffs, but guess what? Guess what? They're in position to possibly make the playoffs. Remember, 7 teams make the playoffs. Obviously they added the 1. 7 teams make it. So coming into this day, Philadelphia, if we look at the standings coming into this day, they got what they wanted in terms of Carolina. Carolina did lose to the New England Patriots today. So Carolina lost to New England today. So they got what they wanted in terms of that. You look at the standings, you look at 7 teams, obviously. Atlanta Falcons at 4-4. All right. You look at Carolina at 4-5. Philadelphia with this loss drops to 3-6. If they would have won this game, they would have been 4-5. And again, they would have been coming up the standings. And you remember, they beat Carolina and beat Atlanta as well. So if Philadelphia could have found a way to win this game, they would have got a step closer to getting into the playoffs. Granted, again, there's a lot of football to be played. I mean, 8 more games left for the Philadelphia Eagles, and the schedule was letting up. I mean, they had a rough schedule to start out, but the schedule was getting a little easier for the Eagles. And hey, maybe they could have string together some wins and possibly find a way to make the playoffs. Look, I'm not saying this Eagles team is a playoff caliber football team. They're not. But guess what? If you can find a way to get into the playoffs, guess what? That's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? Now, I don't care if you're ready, not ready. I don't care if you're good, great, bad, or what have you. But if you get into the playoffs, you get into the playoffs. But again, when we look at this season comes down I'll say it again. I said it before. I'll say it again. The Philadelphia Eagles season comes down to what they can find out about their quarterback. It comes down to who and what Jalen Hurts is. Is Jalen Hurts a starting quarterback, a franchise caliber quarterback for your team going forward? That's the question that needs to be answered. Is Jalen Hurts your guy? Is he the one that can lead your franchise going forward? Is he the guy? That's the question you have to answer if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. And at this point, at this time, it's a question that is still has a question mark. There's still a question mark there. At this point, we don't know. We can start. We're getting closer to that point where we could say, well, here's the thing. I've said before, I think he's an NFL quarterback. I clearly believe that Jalen Hurts is an NFL quarterback. He's an NFL caliber quarterback. He is that. Now, in the terms of what level of starter he is, I think he's more of a low-level starter at this point. Now, he's still developing. He's still trying to figure this thing out. But he's still, the arm strength is an issue. He's still there's still a problem with the arm strength. That's not going to go anywhere. His arm strength is probably not going to get better. So the arm strength will be an issue. But again, as those are things that can be worked around. Obviously, as more you play, the more you anticipate, the more you have more experience and you're able to do certain things. But that's going to take time. And at this point, I don't know. This is a year. If Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, you have to find out this year because, again, you look at the Miami Dolphins, they're going to have that pick, and the Miami Dolphins are near the bottom of the league. So that could be a top 5 type of situation for the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to the Miami Dolphins and their pick. That could be a top 5 situation for them. So, and then, we don't know what the Eagles are going to do record-wise the rest of the way. I mean, we don't know if this thing is going to get better. I don't know if it's going to get better. I mean, the schedule is easier, but this is not a good football team. This is not a good football team. It's not. That's the reality. But, I mean, no one expected anything else. I don't think anybody expected differently. I know after they won 32-6 against the Falcons in week 1, everybody got a little excited, including myself. But at the end of the day, this team is who they are. They are what they are. They're not a good football team. Defensively, offensively, I think they're okay. I think they're okay offensively. Defensively now, that's not a very good defense. It's just not a very good defense. And the Chargers were able to move the ball. And I know the Eagles had a couple fourth down plays where they made some plays on fourth down, but this Charger team had no problem getting up and down the field. Again, 445 yards of total offense. Justin Herbert, 356 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. I mean, he had no problem. And that final drive, I know there was a fourth down conversion there, but they really didn't have a problem getting up and down the field. I don't think anybody – I didn't expect the Eagles to stop the Chargers in that particular situation. What I was hoping for is that they would just have enough time to get the football back. But again, this is not a good enough defense. So it comes down to this. We look at what went wrong for the Eagles. It's clear, the offense was okay, was solid today. They were solid today. They did enough, right? And at the end of the day, when they walked off the field, the offense, it was 24-24. When Jalen Hurts and those boys walked off the field, Devontae Smith scored a touchdown. It was 24-24 when he walked off the field. So when they walked off the field, in theory, their job was done. They did their job. They did what they had to do in that situation. They scored a touchdown, and they put their team back in position to win the football game. But at the end of the day, the Chargers, again, that last drive, 15 plays, 64 yards, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. And that is the key stat there. 6 minutes and 5 seconds. And that pretty much wasted away the clock. And that pretty much won the football game for the Los Angeles Chargers. So, again, 445 yards of total offense for the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, Justin Herbert did what he had to do. 32 for 38, pretty much perfect, darn near perfect. Only missed 6 balls. I mean, so they did what they wanted to do. They did what they wanted to do. And it's pretty much that simple for the Los Angeles Chargers, and they won time of possession as well. 33-minute time of possession. And again, the biggest is that 6-minute drive that put the game away, put the game on ice for the Los Angeles Chargers. Jalen Hurts, again, 11 for 17, had his moments, especially there in that second half, made some nice passes on that final drive that put his team in position, that tied the game. He put him in position, had some nice passes there, coupled to DeVonta Smith. And I, at this point, coming into this thing, I wasn't in love with the DeVonta Smith pick. I'm ready at this point to walk away from that. I'm ready to walk that back, right? DeVonta Smith looks like he has the goods. And to the Eagles' offense credit, the last 2 times they had the football, they scored touchdowns. They scored touchdowns the last 2 times they had the football, right? Down 16-10, they came back, 10 play, 85-yard drive. They scored a touchdown, right? So they did what they had to do in that instance, right? They drove the ball down the field and scored a touchdown. And then again, after the Chargers took the lead back, they responded, 10 play, 78-yard drive. So offensively, at the end of the day, you did what you had to do. The last 2 times you touched the football, you scored. And more than likely, if they would have touched the football again, maybe they would have scored again. But unfortunately, they didn't get that opportunity. They didn't get that chance. They didn't get that moment. And the Los Angeles Chargers get the victory. The Eagles didn't get another shot. The time just ran out. It appeared at that point it could have been one of those games where whoever had the ball last was going to win. And the Los Angeles Chargers essentially had the ball last. The Eagles got it back with 2 seconds left. Tried to, do the lateral thing on the kickoff. But again, too little, too late. Couldn't do anything with that. That rarely works. And ultimately, Los Angeles gets the W. So Philadelphia now, 3-6. And now they go to the Denver Broncos next week. The Broncos coming off an impressive performance, 30-16 victory over the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Big road win for the Denver Broncos. And so now Philadelphia, they travel and they go into Denver. I mean, Denver started off hot, beat some bad football teams, and had been struggling of late. But again, this is NFL is a week-to-week league. It's a week-to-week league. 1 week, you can look great. The next week, you can look hot garbage. I mean, everybody was singing the praises of the Dallas Cowboys. Had a big victory in Minnesota, and everybody was singing the praises of the Dallas Cowboys and talking about this team being legit, this team being one of the best teams in football. You get that big victory in Minnesota without Dak, and you're 6-1, and you won 6 in a row. At that point, people were crowning the Dallas Cowboys. Crowning them. But again, it's a week-to-week league in the National Football League. 1 week, you could be world beaters, and then the next, you could look hot garbage. And 1 week, for the last 6 weeks, the Cowboys were world beaters, and today, they look like hot garbage. Hot garbage. Let's look at the playoff standings now. And again, this is so early, but what the heck, right? And again, I was saying to myself, the Eagles could have won this game. They put themselves in position. They put themselves in position to get, that 7th wild card spot. And even at this point, I mean, they're 2 back, a game and a half, back behind Atlanta Falcons, who they have a tiebreaker against, who they beat. But it's a lot of football left. But at this point, hey, you don't know. You don't know. You string a couple wins together with that 7th wild card spot, with that extra playoff spot, you string a couple wins together. Guess what? You could put yourself in position where you are making the playoffs. And again, that's obviously that would be a clear win for the Eagles if they made the playoffs, a clear win. But at the end of the day, They lost to the Los Angeles Chargers. At the end of the day, defensively, they're just not very good. Offensively, we're better, but they're not great offensively. But I think they're better offensively than they are defensively, right? I mean, and Sirianni clearly at this point knows, hey, the strength of this football team is running the ball. Jordan Howard, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. And if you're Miles Sanders, I mean, imagine if Miles Sanders is getting some of those carries that Boston Scott is giving. Imagine if Miles Sanders is getting those carries that Jordan Howard is getting. Imagine if Miles Sanders is getting those carries that Gainwell is getting. Miles Sanders is a home run hitting back. That guy can make plays. He can go from 0 to 100 real quick. So he has the ability to make plays. He is a home run hitter. So you get a guy like that, 20 carries, he might hit a home run. He might hit a home run at some point, at some time. Just going around the league before we get out of here. How about this? Jacksonville beats the Buffalo Bills. Like, it goes back to on any given Sunday. It goes back to any given Sunday, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not a very good football team. The Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen. You know, we're talking about him as one of the better quarterbacks in this league. And they only put up 6 points against the Jaguars, and they lose 9-6 any given Sunday. Any given Sunday. The Las Vegas Raiders, they go into New York against the Giants, and they lose to the New York Giants 23-16. Any given Sunday, the Giants are not a very good football team, but on any given Sunday, anything can happen. Denver, we know what they did. Cleveland, who had been struggling. You know, Odell Beckham gets released, you know, after his pop put out a video about Baker Mayfield missing him on passes and things of that nature. And guess what? They go into Cincy and beat the Cincinnati Bengals, blow them out 41-16. So on any given Sunday, anything can happen in the National Football League. Please like, please subscribe to this channel, support it, and we'll be back here next week as the Eagles face off against the Denver Broncos. See you later. Take care.